Hi guys, this is Southern Belle 74, and I'm doing my second review of VH1's Love and Hip Hop's Couples Retreat. Let's get into it. We pick off where we left off last week on the first episode. Remember, I shared with you guys that Ray J stormed off after AJ had started asking him some questions, some tough questions. Okay, it picks up where Kirk and Michael Blackson, they go approach him, they ask them, hey, what's going on? Why are you so upset? And he shares with them that he feels like Princess is sabotaging him. She's not being truthful, and she's getting like sympathy, and so it irritated him. And you can definitely see those things going on. This episode is called Ring of Fire. Then they do like a little video montage, and it's almost like a confessional. And Ray J's in the confessional, but he has Kirk in there with him, and he shares with him. He said, "Hey, look, I just so happen to be going through Princess's luggage. This is what Ray J said to Kirk, and she has lingerie. Okay, he said that, she doesn't wear lingerie for me anymore. We're not, being intimate anymore. Who she got that lingerie for?" And so Kirk, he was in this case the voice of reason. He said, "Hey, look, how do you know that maybe she was thinking things would work out with you too, and she wanted to dress up and look nice for her man?" And so it kind of Ray J gave him a look like, "I don't believe you." You know, Ray J's antenna's up. Like I said, he's starting to see, like the expression said, when a woman's fed up, that R. Kelly song, she's to the point to where she's fed up with Ray J now, and she's seeing that he's not going to change his ways. He's pretty much like going to do what he wants to do. Like I said, during the first review, I feel like the both of them see certain qualities in each other that they like or love. But I feel like for Ray J, he's just not ready to settle down, and he's not being honest. And I also feel like he wants his cake and eat it too. I think there's a part of him that really wants to settle with Princess, but there's also a part of him that hasn't completely sold all his wild oats. He still has a part of him that's not ready for that commitment that comes with being married. Okay, so we move on. Um, and then AJ comes back out to the group, and she tells them, tonight they're going to have the Ring of Fire. And this is another, I guess it's part two of her working on the marriage with each couple. So she brings the couples to the table. Ryder and Michael Blackson come first. And Ryder discusses how in the beginning of the relationship, when Michael put down, hey, look, this is how it's going to be, either you can accept this or not. Remember in episode 1, I told you guys, they have a very interesting bedroom life. They like to bring other women into the bedroom. So, and in the beginning, Ryder was okay with that. But now I think they're 2 years in the relationship, and so now she's wanting more. And Michael Blackson was saying, hey, 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 look, I've never lied to you. I've been honest with you from the very beginning. I told you, hey, if you want to be with me, this is what comes with me. And even AJ said, hey, look, I got to give it to Michael. He was honest because a lot of men are not going to be honest. A lot of men would have deceived her and been cheating and all that good stuff. That's one thing I can say about Michael. He really laid it down on the line and he told her, if you want to deal with me and where I'm at in my life, I like activity in the bedroom with more than just going to be more than just you. So the question that AJ always poses with them is, what do you want? And so Ryder was like, well, I want more substance. And so AJ cut her off and said, hey, look, either you're going to accept Michael and what comes with him, his rules, or you're going to end the relationship. And so she went back and was talking about how, she had ended the relationship. And because of the show, she decided to come back to him and hoping that this will be like the final thing that's going to decide whether she stays with him or not. So I think at the end of this retreat, some decisions are going to be made concerning those two. I know most definitely. Okay, so now we move on to Kirk and Rashida. Now they discuss. They do a AJ does a game called Stuck, and she names out certain things, and she said she has them all lined up, and she said, now if you feel like you're stuck in this place, don't move. But if you don't have an issue with whatever topic I give you guys, take one step forward. Well, this is where Rashida and Kurt come in. When they were doing the game, she named out infidelity and mistrust. And when she said those things, Kurt stepped forward. Child, I was too through. I said, even Ray J, I would have expected Ray J to step forward, and Ray J was actually honest and step back. Do you know Kurt was bold enough? I'm like, how do you have a side baby and you talking about you don't have any trust issues and you didn't have any infidelity? You were the one that stepped out on your wife. Are you kidding me? So that was crazy to me. So even Rashida was looking at him like side eye, like, fool, I know you didn't just step up. It was hilarious because she did her confessional and she was like, how is it that I am still having mistrust issues and infidelity issues with you, and you are okay with the situation? You almost ended our marriage. That's where she was. So, of course, here's Kirk. Oh, well, for 15 years, me and you ain't have no issues. And one time, and that's all it takes is that one time. A deal breaker for me in a relationship is trust. Once I can't trust you, I can't be with you. So that's just it. So it was very interesting. Like I said, that dynamic of him feeling like he, no big deal. No big deal. Yeah, that was a very big deal. Dude, what's wrong with you? So they have a pool scene in between times, and Yandy and Delicious get in the pool and they're talking. And so both of them have, the spouses who had been in prison. So they were discussing that. And Delicious was saying that's one of area where her and Raymond are sometimes problems can arise because she's like, I'm learning my husband. He was incarcerated. And, she says sometimes, he wakes up and has nightmares or certain things that he shared with her that happened to him when he was in prison. And so I thought it was really meaningful. The conversation was meaningful. And of course, Yandy shared with Delicious how, um, Mendices showed her a lot of mistrust and insecurity. If she didn't answer a phone call or email, then he was automatically assuming. And even Mendices later on in the show, Mendices and Raymond sit down together and they have a talk. And I thought it was very, very touching that Raymond actually came to him in a place of security and like, hey, I can relate to you. And he was actually sharing some very good knowledge with Mendices. He was saying, hey, if you don't trust your spouse, what kind of relationship? And it goes back to the same thing, the underlying thing with Kirk and Rashida. You've got to have that trust. She held down the home front when you was gone. But I think Mendices issues are deeper rooted, and those come along at the Ring of Fire. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But that was so good that had come up there. Okay, so when they get into the Ring of Fire, when it gets to be Mendices and Yandy's turn, of course, they bring up again the insecurity. Because when they were doing the Stuck game, she was also one of the ones who was stuck, whereas Mendices stepped forward. So it was almost like the same Kirk and Rashida effect. And she's looking like, oh, you don't have any insecurities? But the whole time he was incarcerated, if I didn't answer the phone or your answer or email, you was questioning everything I did. And so they were talking, and AJ once again asked Mendices, what do you want? As far as like to put those feelings of insecurity, what can you do to make Yandy feel like she's secure in the relationship? And so she was saying, Yandy was saying, it was hurtful to her that he would be so quick to wants to end the relationship. And I guess before he went to prison, when he knew he was going to get the sentence, he told her, "Hey, look, on the ride to the prison, he was like, I understand if this is too much for you. You know I'm going to be gone for a while. If you want to end things, I can accept that. I want you to live your life and be happy." And she was like, "I'm not going nowhere. You know, we got kids. I love you. I'm going to hold you down." But then I guess this question was in the back of her mind and she had been wanting to ask him, but she just didn't know how to say it. So she asked him. So at the end, right before it went off, she said, the show went off. She said, "Well, let me ask you this, Medici. If the tables was turned, would you have held me down?" And he said, "I don't know." But what came with that was something very, very telling. And he said, "Look, and the reason why is if my own mother would abandon and leave me after going through that and having to deal with that," he was like, I promised myself I would never allow anybody else to make me feel that way. So people are going to come in your life and they're going to go, and that's okay. But he was like, I never want to experience that kind of that level of pain. So it opened my eyes up to him because at first I was just like everybody else. I was like, what? You know, but once he said that about his mother and those abandonment issues, this is something I've learned through therapy. Ooh, thank God for therapy. If you do not address issues in childhood, they carry on through your adulthood. Now let that marinate on your brain real quick. It's so true. And when he said that, it made me go straight to his childhood. He still has not let go of that. He still has not dealt with that. And that's where intense therapy. He needs therapy by himself, and then they need couples therapy. That's just my personal opinion. Speaking for someone like me who has been through therapy, who's currently in therapy, therapy is beautiful. I don't care what people say. Therapy has changed my life for the better. It's nothing better than having a conversation with someone who's not going to judge you, who you can be open with, free with, get things off your chest, and leave knowing that in that room, all your business, every secret you told is kept. It's a freeing feeling to get that stuff off your chest. When you carry grief and hurt and resentment and jealousy and all the things that you carry in your life that weigh you down, when you're able to get those things off your chest, it is a freeing, relieving feeling. And that's where it stopped. At the confessional, she was in tears. Yandy was in tears and she was upset and she was like, wow. And she said, I've always wanted to ask him the question and now I know. But I hope when it picks up on episode 3 that AJ is allowed to have her look. I hope she has a one-on-one conversation with Yandy and lets her know, hey, look, the reason why Mendeecees feels this way has nothing to do with you and everything to do with his unresolved issues with his mother. And so that's where I'm going to end it today, guys. I hope you really enjoy my reviews. Please check out this show. I mean, hip hop, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta has always had the rah-rah, the ratchet, and crazy. But this couples retreat, I really enjoy because there are lighter moments, but then there's those moments where it can get heavy, and it's so good. It's so good to watch people actually deal with these issues. And so, in closing, tune in for episode 3. And you guys, like I said, check out the show. I think you'll be very impressed. Love and Hip Hop, VH1 Couples Retreat. Get into it.